Rhinestoners. We are so excited because this is episode 10 of Rhinestone.
Rhinestoned.
We
Yay. Happy
made it
Friday, sir.
to the big 1-0. I love it.
Go us. Another week.
Gotta celebrate it every milestone.
Hey, I am proud of us.
Yeah, I mean, I think 10's a big deal.
I think 10 is a big
Gotta
deal.
stay consistent, you
Oh
know?
my God, absolutely. I saw this TikTok of it, like a husband kind of like making fun of his wife because she got herself a cake for, I want to say, 10,000 followers on TikTok. And I was like, that's a big deal though. Starting from
Yeah.
0 to 10,000. Come on, I could only dream.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Rhinestone is where you at.
here's to manifesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, I'm very happy it's Friday.
Week just felt a little longer. For no like real reason. It was our father's birthday. So we
Yeah.
did get to celebrate him and take the kids over. That was so fun.
Yeah,
But the
you guys,
Steelers lost. So
that was really, really sad.
yeah, that was sad.
I was
I don't
pretty bummed
know.
about it.
We're not going to talk about the Rodgers of it all today. And also just note at the top, everything that we say is alleged and we know nothing about nothing and we're just here to play. But there is some hot tea coming out about him and this former like pop rapper Mike Stud. Did you ever hear about Mike Stud?
No.
Okay, some people are convinced that they're married. Some people are convinced he married a chat bot. Some people are convinced they're married to like
That I
Russian
did know
twins.
about. My boyfriend told me about that one, that apparently his wife or whatever, like people don't think she's real.
I know. Okay,
Yeah.
so we won't talk about that, but this is all to say my dad loves the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers is the QB. And we got to go over there and watch him lose and probably play what will be potentially his last game in the league. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And then yeah, this weekend, I've got a couple of like play dates planned.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I just invited myself over to some mom's houses because my living room
We're
is kind
done.
of under construction.
Yeah.
If you see this right here, you'll wonder, what is that? What's peeking? It's a little head. Let me show you. It's Barbies.
So many Barbies.
So that's my life. I'll be playing with my daughters and enjoying my weekend. What are you gonna do, sis?
Man, we loved Barbies growing up. Sorry.
Oh
It
my
made me so
God.
nostalgic. And it
Well,
made me think about the
the
playhouse.
playhouse.
I
The
love
play.
that we called it a playhouse. We
It
had
was
a
a house
house that we grew up in for like the first part of our childhood
in the Bay Area.
that had a full room in the backyard,
Like an ADU unit. What people would call an
basically.
ADU unit now. Yes.
But like definitely, because it was like what, the 90s, it was like it looked like a house, like the
Hmm.
roof and everything, like, just the way it was structured. It was like, and our parents not like renovated it, but kind of.
I mean, they let us paint. Remember
They
when we
they
got to,
painted it. We
yeah,
painted it like all these different colors, and we would just
yes,
go
we
out
got to
there and
choose.
play Barbies. That was it. That was all we did
No,
in
that was all we did in the playhouse. I don't remember doing anything else.
that, but also like there, I don't know, maybe not for you, but for me, there was also this element though of like it was just always a little creepy going out to the playhouse because we would see spiders a
Yes.
lot, right? Like even though we'd like
Yeah.
cleaned it and carpeted it, whatever, like it's still out in the backyard.
Yes. Do you remember when there were kittens under the playhouse?
Yes. Yes. Definitely. There was just
Man,
weird
I
stuff
wish that
always.
type of thing. I am waiting every day to go out into my backyard
And
and
have,
find a kitten,
yeah.
a bunny.
Anyone that thinks that, living in California is like, no, there's a lot of wildlife and
Oh,
possums.
well, yeah. And
We have
okay,
possums in the backyard.
well, where I live too, there are deer just everywhere. And unfortunately, these deer get run over. And these are
Yeah.
on like, we're talking like residential streets. So this isn't a highway where you're like going so fast and you see a deer and you're like, oh, that was crazy. But like I was going, this is just, I'm going 25 and there's just a 150-pound deer that got run over last night by someone trying to pull into their driveway.
Yeah.
Carnage. I hate it. That's the one
No,
thing I'm
not
like,
fun.
I don't like that
Yeah.
part about rural
Yeah.
California. But
But
anyway.
The Barbie part was fun. And I think I love that they're, interested in that because I think that you and I had pretty elaborate things that we would make up. with our Barbies that in
Oh,
retrospect probably helped later in life,
yes.
I think, right?
Yeah, a lot of
Oh,
rope
just like the
learning.
ability to stretch our amount. I mean, we did. Like we would
Yes.
put on whole kind of like things and I mean, I don't even remember any of them specifically. I just remember like we definitely were out there for hours just like telling stories with them or putting on
Oh,
little
here,
plays
you know
or
what? I have something I remember. Here it is. We had two Kens.
yes,
Ken with the blonde hair, Ken with the brown hair.
that's
Ken with
right.
the brown hair and Ken with the blonde hair both only had one outfit. Why? I don't know. We just never were into buying more Ken
Didn't care
outfits.
about the Ken. Yeah.
Nope. So Ken with the blonde hair had a tuxedo, cummerbund, the whole thing, little ruffle,
I
like
do
white
remember
button
that.
down, very elaborate stuff. Ken with the brown hair had literally this like pull over like shawl thing with these like old brown pants with the buttons popped off. Okay, so the whole time he was just like Rico Suaving it with his abs
Rocking
out.
when
And
he was
I would
there.
beg Nicole, let me have the good Ken this time. I want
No,
the good little sisters everywhere. You never got
never.
the good Ken.
Elder sisters never yield.
My
No.
beautiful Barbies always marrying the busted Ken.
I do remember that. Yeah, I enjoyed getting to control. That's where it all started. My control
She's gonna
issues.
be the powerful woman that she is today, okay?
Exactly.
Those were the
Telling
building
you
blocks.
which Barbies you couldn't play with.
Thank you.
That's what the
Yes.
sisters are for, you know. Um, this weekend, more football. Yay.
Oh yeah. Me too.
Tonight we are going to another matinee event. I'm
Oh,
pretty
what are you
excited
gonna
about
do?
it. It's called Friday Feeling, so it's like early R&B and hip hop.
I love it.
My kind
Okay,
of music?
so it's obviously drinks, it's obviously food. Food, drinks, music,
Yes.
lounge, dancing. Is there
Yeah.
food at this thing?
Yes. So one of my favorite things is that halfway through all of these events, pizza is delivered
Okay, I was gonna ask, is it some sort of like
to
shtick?
to
Okay.
the venue.
Okay, cool.
So as long as you're like being semi-aware, we've kind of learned now, I think, going to them that like we usually go get the pizza right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless, like there's a couple times I feel like we're just having so much fun that you're not thinking about it,
Oh, sure.
and then later
Yeah.
maybe you go get a slice.
Oh,
But
that's so fun.
but like tonight, because it's a Friday and because it starts at 6, this one only goes for 4 hours, I think.
Hmm.
I'm gonna need the pizza because like we won't be eating dinner.
Yeah. Pizza's a
So
great base.
yeah,
Great
I
base
mean,
for
I think I'll like
partying.
have like a
Not
late
partying.
lunch and then, but I am excited for the music and this venue is one that we haven't been to before. It's like newer. I think it's called Music for a while. I
Oh,
think it's
fun.
more of a
Okay.
lounge,
Okay.
truthfully. So I am a
Yeah.
little bit curious how the dance floor I've looked at, everything is so advanced now on Google. It's like crazy, when you go to look at a place and you're like, you're in the place.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, you're doing a
From the second
360.
you're on the search, you're like, okay, now I'm weaving through. So
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, there's two different rooms. So I'm like, are people going to be dancing in the other room? Like, this is the room with the DJ. So I have no idea.
Fun.
But they kind of like market themselves as like a place for music lovers.
Okay.
And as far as lounges go, they have a 4.5 rating, which is
Oh,
like,
nice.
it's
Okay.
really hard to have a high rating for any kind of nightlife establishment in New York. Like I've
Hmm.
noticed that it really doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Like people are always going to be upset because inevitably people are being turned away. So the
Yeah.
ratings are usually low. To see a 4.5, but I guess it makes sense. It's like a smaller venue.
I was hearing that on TikTok about Miami, that like even if you are a New York 10, like you're not getting into anything in Miami because everyone in Miami is literally just like coming out of the plastic surgery up do do and then like on a line do do next one. You know what I mean? So unless you're participating in that behavior, you're standing on the sidelines. I'm like, man, it's rough out there for a 25-year-old.
No, yes. I mean, I honestly, it's really funny that you mentioned that because it kind of reminds me of something I was talking about with my friend last night. Like,
Hmm.
I do think that's where like Manhattan is getting a little bit ridiculous at this
Uh-huh.
point.
Hmm.
Like everything is a line, everything is pay to play. I saw this video from this like gorgeous woman. She's like definitely our age, and she was just lamenting like going out in New York lately. And she's just like, saying that like her and her friends are the type of people, like us, they know how to have a good time wherever they are.
Yeah.
They will have fun. But she was just saying it's like frustrating, like everywhere, anytime now that they want to go and just like have a night and like see what happens, see where it could evolve to, you just can't do that anymore. And I
Right.
do think as someone who's like a planner or whatever, like I know how to navigate that, but it has made it more stressful. I
Oh, I could only imagine. And I know we've said this before, so I'm not saying anything new. Also, like you live in New York, so you know this. But yes, I would say the best nights that I've ever had with you in New York are those nights where you're just like falling out of one place to go to another to see a
Yeah,
live thing that you didn't even know was happening,
you can't do that
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
I think you still like the where the conversation turned to, which was funny with my friend, is like he's thinking of moving to Brooklyn now, which is cracking me up because I lived in Brooklyn for so long and could not get any of my friends to live there, and now they all want to leave and go to Brooklyn. But I do agree that that does still exist in Brooklyn to an extent. In Manhattan,
Okay.
it's like, and like the woman in this video, she was like, I'm just going to keep spending my money at places that I know are going to treat me the way I want to be treated. And then she was like,
Fair.
here's where we were. And it was like some luxury hotel. I was
Fair.
like, okay, fair enough. Which is sort of, I guess, to a certain extent what I do, like getting reservations and all of that. But yeah, the
Yeah.
spontaneity is definitely gone. And it's like, there's lines for dive bars now.
Ugh. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Like, I'm not
That's
even
so
kidding.
sad.
Like you're like,
That's just
there's a lot of
sad.
dive bars, where I live, and like there's literally like you'll walk by, there'll be lines to get in. You're like,
You know
what
what's
are we doing?
you know what's so funny is like I lived in San Francisco for 12 years, something like that. And looking back, like just realizing how much San Francisco is not that, I mean, San Francisco is such just like a drinking, dirty city. Really, like when you really live there, you know what it's like. And like there is no line culture at all. Open a new restaurant in San Francisco, no one cares.
Yeah,
No one's gonna go. They're gonna sit at that same dive bar. They're gonna go to the Buena Vista
yeah,
and have an Irish coffee.
yeah.
It's so if you want to go to a nice restaurant, it's really easy to spend
Easy
money
to
in
get
San
in
Francisco.
places.
It's easy to get in. It just
Well, apparently SF has bounced back. You guys should go visit and
Oh
report
no,
back
I
because
know. I really
apparently
want
it
to
looks
go.
like now it looks like,
I think my
almost.
daughter would get a kick out of it because she's seen all of these pictures of us and
Oh,
she'll always ask,
totally.
"Where was I? Where was I?"
Not here yet, honey.
Well, you weren't here. Technically, you were inside of mommy.
Yeah,
Technically, that's what I tell
technically it is at a certain point.
Wait,
Uh,
really quick, and then we'll go into our topics. One thing I did hear was Carl from Summer House
mm,
opened, you made me think of this because you were talking about Brooklyn. He opened Soft Bar.
yes.
And I
Kind of
know
like
on
in the Greenpoint,
mm,
Williamsburg border area.
which I mean, talk about the rent that he must be paying for that place. I just couldn't even imagine. But anyway,
Mhm.
people love it. All I
Well,
see
yeah.
on my TikTok are people there. Like they're calling it a third space, right? That we
Yeah.
need more of these third spaces, which I think is a really interesting and great way to refer to it. And yeah, and then there's like an upstairs area, I guess, that he's gonna use for like rented podcasting or,
He
events.
definitely fitted that place out for influencer events. Like you can
Very
tell.
smart. I was like, you know what? Everyone, I mean, still TBD. We're in the first flush, right? This thing could fail in 2 years. But I did just think like, yeah, there's something to not maybe wanting to drink or have explicitly coffee, like that
I think
middle ground of something else. I don't know.
I think that is what's so interesting though, like sometimes living in New York because you like, like I think the latest stat is like it's like 45% of Americans aren't drinking anymore or something like
Right.
that. But now there's like a lot of chatter online and it definitely is like centered on New York, but basically that like Gen Z is returning to drinking. This is like anecdotal, right? But they're like, I'm sorry, if you go out anywhere in New York on a Friday or Saturday night, people are drinking. Like Gen Z is
So,
definitely out and they are drinking. And so I keep seeing people's like predictions that they think alcohol is going to make a comeback. I'm not sure about that. I think that
okay.
certain things like you kind of start to swing one way and then I don't know, you go too far with the culture and I just don't it's hard to
I
see everyone just like getting off of that train to swing back the other way, but we'll see.
Okay, wait, really quickly on that. And I'm sorry that I can't cite the source. If I can find it, we will put it in the show notes, I promise. But yeah, one thing I would say is interesting about that, to your point, is I did see a doctor who was on a podcast talking about the fact that there is definitely statistics that are showing kids are drinking less.
Yeah,
However, there are also statistics showing that kids are online more than ever, and that to think that there's not a correlation between those
totally.
two, right? And so, yeah, to your point, maybe that is what we're seeing, right? That it's like, well, if people start to identify that maybe being so online is not a great thing, and they start to come out of those spaces into these real spaces in the world, then they're starting to realize, wait,
Totally.
I need social lubricant. Hold on. Mm.
But I think, look, I mean, look, everything in moderation, but I do think even that has been interesting. I don't think we actually talked about this when it came out. There was a 60-minute segment recently with some guy who's doing like, he's like on the forefront of like health and wellness and like helping people. His clients are paying him millions of dollars, basically.
I think I saw the 60 unit. We'll also
Yeah,
link this as well.
yeah, to optimize,
Yeah.
their health, whatever. So there was like part of his segment that they didn't air where they asked him about alcohol because that so often gets brought up as like, yeah, cut that out. And
Mm.
he was like, actually, he's like, I have a different opinion. Um, and it was basically the social aspect, right? He said that like that can be a very healthy thing to have camaraderie with others, and that like basically he himself does drink was I
Hmm.
think part of his answer.
Yeah.
Um, but I saw something again the other day where someone was talking about that as well, of just like, oh, I remember what it was. I was like listening to the news in the background. It was like one of those things where they're like shouting out like, an elderly person, for something. I think she'd like won a contest or whatever. Oh, they were shouting out that she'd lived to 101.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it was like her secrets, okay?
Oh, yeah. Drink
It
a bottle of wine a day.
was like a gin martini every day.
Mama's medicine, baby. I know.
I just
I
was like
know.
in the kitchen cracking up. Like,
I'm
that's the trick.
I know. I know. It's so funny. Listen, I do think sometimes I don't want to say this. You know what I'm saying when I say this, to say you want to have moments, or in life, there are these moments where you can be absolutely idiotic with your friends and do things that are not risky, but like stupid, like those stupid nights in whatever city.
Yeah.
And yeah, does alcohol sometimes make it easier to be that way? A little bit. And that doesn't mean you have to get obliterated, but like there is a little bit of like, yeah, it does lubricate. It helps to lower, your guard a little bit. And then you can make some fun memories. But I do think also like that has a time and place, and you always want to be safe, rhinestoners. Okay.
Well, this is actually a great segue because a large part of why I enjoy the Golden Globes so much is the drinking. And that is
Perfect.
purely because you get to see these stars in a different element.
You
Like,
really do.
first of all, have you seen the clip of Leo like talking to Tiana? What what is happening? That is a moment that only champagne can create. I'm sorry. He has major champagne face in that
Absolutely.
entire exchange.
That's
Like,
the only
there's
way that
no
Leo
way.
could even be in that room.
You would never get a moment like that if it wasn't for a little loosey-goosey.
Absolutely. And I think he was talking to Tiana Taylor from everything that I'm seeing
Yeah, he was making fun of her for like
for
looking
K-pop
around. Yeah,
reaction.
I mean, that was just.
That was really good stuff. No,
But
I
can we
know.
just also say what we're all thinking when we're watching that clip? Or is it just what I'm thinking?
Oh my God, tell me. I don't know.
Do we really, why is the conversation around Leo never, or at least maybe if it is, I think this only comes up in very small
I'm
circles.
like nervous.
I feel like the conversation is always around like why he's dating these young women all of the time, and we never get to the part of the conversation about whether or not those are all beards.
Oh,
Because I just feel like watching that clip, like
okay. Like
that
he's a theater.
that
He's
looks
a
like
theater
my
gay.
That looks like my gay bestie right there. Like, I don't know. What are we talking about? Like, I don't, is that, I'm just, look, I'm not trying, but like, is that a moment of like
Do I think
masculinity
do
or
I think we all need to pull back and ask ourselves why he's going on these yachts that are always two floors and Toby Maguire is always on one? I mean, I don't know. 20 years going on yachts with Toby Maguire?
I just think
Ain't
it's
bad.
sad because I feel like we're in 2026 and so if this were true, like everyone would benefit from him being honest about that.
Listen, I
He's a
saw
huge
a
movie star. Who cares anymore at this point? Like I don't think people would care.
wait, okay, wait. I did. Do you know who Caleb Heron is? Caleb Heron, he's young. He was born in like 1995, so he's a baby. Um, he is like a comic and he has his own podcast and he's been in some movies. I would say he's still kind of like up and coming. This is all to say he's a gay man who's an actor in LA. And he was on his podcast the other day and he was saying, he was like, it would shock you how many of these actors are gay. He's like, your favorite actor,
Yeah.
you're the guy that you love, he's gay. And
Yeah.
he's like, and the reason that he's not talking about it is because what you don't know is that Hollywood does not like gay stories. They
No,
don't
I
like
mean,
gay
or they don't want their leading straight
to
men
be
to be gay.
whatever,
Yeah.
And I thought that was, listen, and whether or not Caleb knows that for sure, who knows? He could be talking about five people and making it seem like it's 50, so
No,
let's
but
take
I think
everything with
that
a
that
grain of
is
salt.
widely
But
no. I mean, I have friends that have lived in LA who have told me similar things that like it's just so under
it's so prevalent.
it's yes, it's not some big secret.
This is the one thing they won't waver on. They
But
will.
that's my thing with Leo. Like I understand making certain calculations about like, well, I'm this type of actor and I have this type of role, right? I don't really think that he's that kind of, I mean, it's not like, oh, every time he comes out and does something, he's in some like rom-com, like, I think we would still watch him and we would still kind of, experience his characters in the same way if he was out. And I'm not saying, we know for sure he's gay, but I don't know. To me, I think
Well, I
it's
mean, I'll go
interesting.
full conspiracy theory on you. I think there was always something there with Heath Ledger. I think it's weird that Heath Ledger had Brokeback Mountain fame. I'm not saying that he was gay because of Brokeback Mountain. I'm saying like major fame, and then he went on to Dark Knight, and then he married Michelle Williams, and that never really seemed like he ever really loved her. So I never understood that relationship at all. And then he dies in this way that's kind of like, I don't know. I'm not saying he was gay, but it always has just made me like think about what's really going on with Heath. Like, was there some sort of just deep depression, or does that sometimes happen, where you've been living so inauthentically for so many years, and one night it's like, I just can't take it anymore. I cannot
Yeah.
take it.
I don't know if I
I,
think that about Heath Ledger, but I hear
I
you.
don't know. I'm not saying Heath, but it's these young men sometimes that I just wonder to myself, like, is it all the weight of masculinity? Because it's more often that we see in Hollywood,
Yeah,
these Aaron Carter, right?
totally.
River Phoenix. Like there's just a litany of men who would, Kurt Cobain. I'm not saying they're all gay at all. I'm just saying I think they all suffer
We're
from the
outing
weight of,
everybody.
yeah, no, this is so 10. I just think it's the weight of masculinity sometimes.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a weight of femininity too. I'm
Well,
not.
but I think, look, so like Nikki Glazer made that joke, right? About like, that's all we know about you, right? Like when she was like, I'm sorry, but this is all and I think that's more like what that moment to me sort of revealed, right? Is like, this is him being truly himself in this moment. He's making fun of a friend, right? And he's being his sort of like most outward self. I mean, it's honestly, you don't even need to know what he's saying, and it's hysterical to watch, right?
Yeah.
And I do think it's just very revealing in the sense of like I watched it thinking, I have no idea who Leonardo DiCaprio is. Because
And
that
this is
is
what
not,
we
it's not
said.
just not at a moment I would have anticipated,
Nope. And
right?
you and
And
I
I
said
think,
this last week. We said this about not ever really knowing relationships. I don't remember who we were talking about, but we were just saying like you don't know. And perfect example, right, of this. It's like Hollywood does, y'all. They insulate themselves so freaking well. Anything is
yeah,
because they want you to know it.
totally,
If it's
totally.
out there, they had someone leak it.
Well,
Like,
and I think again, like dating young women that you know you're not going to marry and that probably know that you're not going to marry them is like a very good way to just sort of like distract from, you
and
know, maybe the
also here's the other
realities
thing.
of your personal life.
Okay, he treats these women really well. Like
Yes.
the ones that he has dated that are somewhat verging into the most of them are just kind of nameless models, but there he has recently he dated uh Daisy and the Six. She was an actress on Daisy and the
Oh,
Six.
yes. Camilla something.
He dated her, and I think that even that's strategic because it's like his team, again, conspiracy, right? But I think his team is in his ear a little bit like, okay, it's been 15 years, you're not giving interviews. We need to have something in the ether about you that's positive, right? To maintain like, so you're gonna date her for like a nanosecond, treat her like a queen. And there was, I think, a Rolling Stone interview with her where she was, I mean, it was like 3 pages of her just being like, he is the most misunderstood man in the whole, he's so sweet, he's so giving, and it's like, is that strategic too though? Like
Yeah.
strategically date this young ingenue who's gonna have nothing but fantastic things to say about you. Oh my
I'm
God.
sure at this point it is all a controlled machine. I don't, come on. I don't think that he's just like
Oh
meeting
my
these
God,
women.
Nicole, you know what
I,
this reminds me of? And we don't want to get too deep into this because this is how it ends up being 2 hours. But the John Travolta, Riley Keough baby of it all,
oh
like this
man.
stuff,
Yeah.
this is the stuff where it's like, we don't know. Who knows? If that's happening,
I
then
feel
who
like
knows?
that one has to be true.
Oh,
Some of
okay.
these
First of
rumors
all,
are
that
just
one
like
is
they're so
100% true.
out there that it's like obviously it's coming from a true place. I know that
And
the celebrities always love to say that that's not the case, and I'm like, I disagree.
no,
Like
that's a factual story that someone
history
told.
always proves you wrong
Yeah.
because you come out and say stuff like that, and then later on we find out that it was true.
It's like Army Hammer is a cannibal, and you're like, you
No.
guys. And then he's like in the Bahamas wearing a pink t-shirt, just like, I'm gonna take care of cars now. Like, oh no, he was a cannibal.
You're like, no, that was true. That was totally true.
Army, what are you doing?
Oh, so yeah, I mean, Nikki Glazer, I thought she did a great job. Again, she's a good pick. And I have to
Loved
give her
him.
credit. She has balls. I think coming out and making the joke about CBS while airing on CBS is brave.
And
I
how
don't know
much
if
more
they,
could you can't drag it any more than that.
I
It
don't
was
know if
quick.
they've said if she's like not going to be asked back now because of that or something, because yeah, I thought that was bold. I respect her for, taking the shot.
Also, Nikki Glazer, waist was
She
snatched. Oh
looked
my
good.
God, she looked great. She doesn't
She looks
drink.
great. She looks great. I think like I loved a lot of the moments with Kevin Hart and The Rock. I can never call him Dwayne Johnson. He'll always be The Rock as far as I'm
The
concerned.
Rock, in a very uncharacteristic move, brought his wife to the Golden Globes. I
Oh, did
was
he? I didn't see that.
I said, "Hi, Lauren, where have you been?"
Oh, the old ball and chain got to come out of the house for one night. You're right. He does never bring her around. It's kind of weird.
She doesn't have a face for the cameras, and
Was
I think he
Kevin
knows
Hart's wife
that.
there? Because that's also someone I feel like I don't see.
Towering over him by like 2 feet. I said, you
I
know
missed
what?
that.
Good for Kevin Hart for bringing her on the red carpet, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he
Aniko.
kind of has to continue to do everything he can to keep that marriage.
I think he really loves her. And in all of the photos, it just looks like she's one mistake away from leaving him. So good luck to Kevin Hart.
That's what I mean. I think he works. I mean, look, there's literally a whole song written about his infidelity. Great song. J.
Oh,
Cole.
it's one of my best. It's one of J. Cole's best. I'll
I love
listen to
J.
Kevin's Heart, like
The video
cruising. I don't know why
too,
that's a
so
cruising
good.
song.
That music video. Oh man. I want another J. Cole album like that. I hope that's coming.
No,
And of
what's
course,
the okay, wait, I don't know why this made me think of it. What's the Kanye West song with Stacey Dash in the music video? Why am I spacing on it?
All Falls Down.
Everyone, go to that best music video ever in the whole entire
Yeah.
world, by the way, is All Fall Down. And if you go to the very end, you realize it's all first person and it's him. Well, I mean, you realize that
Yeah.
like in the beginning of the video, but it really comes to light because he looks through the sun roof of the limo and her plane starts to go, and at the bottom of the screen you see water, and so
Yeah.
it's his eyes welling up, and no one ever believes me that that's in that music video, and that is in that music video. Go back and watch it. That's how the music video ends.
And Stacey Dash still honestly looks amazing.
She was incredible in that.
I don't
Kanye
know if
West,
you
man, this
follow
is the
her, but she
thing.
still
Ugh,
just looks kind of the same. So good for
ugh,
her.
I know she really does. She's on TikTok and
Not aged.
she looks great. She's
Speaking of people looking great,
mm,
Kylie.
just like she looked like a
Honestly,
golden
I
girl.
think she was the best dressed. And I'm not even saying that
No,
because
she was the best
I
dressed.
like the Kardashians. Okay, I do have a pretty big rant, actually. And
Tell me
maybe it
everything.
was intentional because, let's be real, like we are living in dark times. And I think the Globes in particular aired in the midst of a couple of really,
Mhm.
dark days.
Certainly.
But like, what was with everyone in either white, black, or white and black? I feel like that was the entire color palette. I did not see Tessa Thompson was in green. That's like the only person I can remember being in color. Just a sea of black and white. That
Yeah,
was
I was
it.
gonna say I
I was
thought
watching the
Leighton
red carpet. It
Meester,
was
but it
just
was
like
just a
dress
band.
after dress after dress after dress, black, white,
Yeah,
black, white, black and white. Like
yeah,
just boring.
yeah. I was
I
trying
think
to think.
And then the only other option outside of that was silver, right? We saw Kate Hudson. She looks amazing. And then I think Kylie, what I think was really interesting about Kylie's dress is that it's clear that, she's changing, I think, whatever her own rules for herself that she set. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it was a discussion that they had. I do think he is very, very like calculated and meticulous, and
Yes,
I would be shocked if he is not getting some kind of say on all of her looks. He just strikes me as that type of guy.
absolutely.
Um, so maybe again, like she was allowed to come out for the night as well, so to speak. But this was, I think, a break from her because I feel like she's either been wearing black, things that are in that sort of sphere of like, let me draw as little attention as possible. Or, of course, with the Marty stuff, we did get some of the like her matching him in orange. I think her
Oh, which I
showing up
loved. I loved that Chrome
I
Hearts. I
loved
love
that
that.
too. But I think her showing up in silver is like actually a big deal. It's like she's finally kind of being allowed to like shine. And then what I think was really fascinating is if you watch a lot of the like commercial break footage or behind the scene footage, it's like everyone is coming up to Kylie Jenner as if she is like the queen of the golden. Did you notice that? Like I
I
saw
100%
multiple
noticed that.
celebrities and it's like coming over to kiss the ring. And I'm like,
Okay.
what is happening?
Okay. So I have two things to say about everything that you just said. So one, I want to share my screen for 1 second because I think it's important. Oh, okay, you disabled participant screen sharing, which is actually good because I don't need skirmishing because I just thought about that. So what I'll do instead, team, is I'll just know that
Edit
at
it
this
in.
moment that we're talking about hats, and so I'll look for hats, and I'll put a photo. But I was talking to my husband the other day because we were watching the playoffs or one of the playoff games, right? And everyone, it's like playoff hat time. Okay.
Yeah.
So they've moved into their new swag. These playoff caps are like black hat, red hat, label, black hat,
Yeah.
label. And I was telling my husband, I was like, this is so crazy because every other year these playoff hats are like embroidered, like national AFC champions, like,
All
embroidered
the
to the
stuff.
gills, all of the stuff. And I was like, this is what people online are saying, recession indicator or
Yeah.
whatever. And I clocked the exact same thing about the Golden Globe. I was like, did everyone not want to pay the fashion houses this year? Like, did we
No.
all go into our closets? Is that something that, like, from the NFL to the Golden Globes, like, all talent has been put on notice this year of like, hey, listen, what we're not going to do is peacock
Well,
because
look,
it
but
is
that is
dark
what I was
times.
wondering. There is a precedent for that. There are years in the Golden Globes where
There has
because
to
of
be.
things that were happening either politically or culturally, there have been kind of decisions by the actresses and then actors who participated too to wear a certain color, avoid a certain color. Like that has happened. So it did have me wondering if
I
this
think
was
so too.
maybe a conversation of like, you know what, this doesn't feel. And look, even if it wasn't a conversation, I do understand instinctually how they all would have arrived at that, right? Like I said, we are in some dark days right now, and so I do
Tone it down.
understand, you know, you're getting ready to go to the Globes, you're like, I don't think I want to be in red.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in, I get it. I understand how people would be feeling like I want a more muted vibe. But I
Yeah.
think as viewers, that certainly makes things pretty boring and uniform to watch. And so I think that was kind of unfortunate. Like I
Yeah.
honestly can't even, maybe outside of like Kate Hudson, like and Emma Thompson again, because it stood out for being green. Can't even really remember anyone's dress. It's all just like a blah, like
Well, to your point, Kylie's. And then that's what I was going to react to, right? Like she has such a sense of occasion. She knows how to dress for her body so well.
yes.
She obviously has so much money that she has access to the type of stuff that is going to come across as like so stunning on screen. But also the thing I like about Kylie is like this is a little hyperbolic to say this, and like I don't know, right? There is something that oozes out of that woman. And it's this like I don't know, like you see her sitting next to him and she just knows her role. She's not trying to take up any extra space and yet she just can't she can't help but take up space because of the way that she looks. You know, she's so adoring every time that she looks over at him, every time that she's on camera, like she keeps her reaction so demure. I just think there is something so old Hollywood about what they are doing that I am just delighting in. I love that we don't really see them outside of these things that they do together. I think that speaks to old Hollywood. And
Yeah.
even like we were talking about Julia Roberts, right? Perfect example of like if you play your cards right, you can be 50 years old, not 80,
Yeah.
50, right? Commanding a room, commanding a standing ovation because you are just Julia Roberts to these people. You're
Yeah.
nothing else. You're every movie that has brought them joy. And I think that like I was gonna say Marty. That's how much I'm already like. But yeah, I think that Timmy really does have the capacity to be that type of actor, just like Leo. And that's what Leo has done to come full circle to this
Oh yeah,
conversation. It's like he has
totally.
removed himself from the public eye. Beyonce, another perfect example, because I know we've talked about that too, where it's like for us, she can just be Beyonce. We don't
Yeah.
need to worry about her politics or anything like that. And to be honest, that's kind of what Hollywood is about. And
Yeah.
in this influencer space, we've really like tried to shift that pendulum. And it's like, I don't need that from my Hollywood. I don't need that. I need pretty dresses.
Well, I think like to your point about Kylie too, and I know this is like on the sillier side, but I did see this post from this astrologer that was saying that's like it's actually because of her like chart basically that she is the way she
I could
is.
see that.
And
Yeah.
they were saying that like she has this unique ability to basically make everyone around her shines, and they were making the point that both Tyga and Travis Scott were actually doing much better and at their height career-wise when she was still with them.
100%.
And that basically she's having the same sort of effect on your dear Timmy as well.
And
So,
she doesn't say too much. And that's the thing too. So it's like everything that she does say is delightful. And so
one thing
that
I do have to, and I'm going to totally reveal my square tendencies and my old school, like in this, I did see this one shot, this one still of them sitting at the table where she has both fingers. She's flipping off both
oh yeah.
fingers. And I just thought, like, that pose, like I know that's very like her, right? And I know that obviously like she doesn't care and can get away with it and good for her. But I just thought like I would bet money, also knowing what I know about them, that she is regretting that. I
Okay.
I guarantee you that that was talked about the next day where she
Oh
was
yeah.
like, I really
Oh
wish
yeah.
I wouldn't have done that
Yeah.
because the whole narrative outside of that was like, oh wow, that dress looks stunning, fits her so well, she's commanding the room, and then it's like that pose with her tongue sticking out, like it just made it seem like I don't know, like
Kylie.
almost like she was too intoxicated, which she wasn't, like to your
No.
point, right? She was very like, well
Buttoned
poised
up.
throughout the night. So I just, there's stuff like that where it's like, I just wish she wouldn't have,
Okay,
but
so
do you, girl.
that's an incredible segue to what I wanted to talk about. So, much to that same point, my heated rivalry boys, Connor
Yeah.
and Hudson.
Yes.
So, a couple of different things. They had what's the bot that it like swings and stuff.
The
Oh, the
glam
glam bot.
bot.
My little baby Hudson decides to do the glam bot and he throws up the double bird. That's his glam bot of him just being like, "Do you and Kylie go to the same cocktail hour?
You're like, give something
Get
else.
your shit together. What are you doing?
I
You're
don't
gorgeous.
know.
You're okay." So, but anyway, if you rhinestoners and my lovely sister, if you watch any of the pre-Globe coverage, these boys were all over it. Hudson is playing ski hockey with Gail. He's talking to Mary Beth Cohen or Cone. I don't know her. He's hitting every single Connor's story is coming to the red carpet. People are going crazy, ripping off their clothes. Then they come up to present. Then they come up to present. Crickets from the audience, no engagement. He says, because everyone's been watching Heated Rivalry, they go, "Ah." The other one goes, "So that's a maybe." I just want to take back everything I said last week about like Hollywood, like rallying around them. No, that is not true. Obviously, the vibes that I got from that room was like, F these two. We have
Yeah.
all worked so hard, and here they come doing gay for pay. And that's something that we all avoid,
But
right?
it's not just that today. Okay, look, I have to be honest with you. I have now attempted for the second time to watch it for you so that I can like talk to you about it. I got maybe 15, 20 minutes in. I don't get it. Like I don't understand. I'm gonna keep trying. This is like it's like when you have a really big pill and you keep trying to swallow
I
it. Like
know.
that's
I
what this is
know.
like. Like it's just like I don't get it. And
I
I
know.
usually I feel like am here for these types of moments and shows, but I am struggling.
Well, okay, the funny thing with Heated Rivalry, and
The
like this
trick.
is
Please
and this
give
is
me
the
the
thing.
trick to watch
Well,
and
the
enjoy
trick
the show.
is the trick is to understand that for the first like episode and a half, no one says anything else but Rosenoff, Hollander, and like fuck you. Like he's like fuck you, fuck you,
But
fuck.
that's
That's
what
all
I'm
they
saying.
get.
I'm like, what are we watching? Like, I don't
I
even
know.
understand what the story is.
Have you gotten to any of the love scenes yet?
Yes, that was actually like where I think I've stopped because I'm just like I just don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
because that is where that I would say when I said like I think when everyone is going crazy about them, I do think I agree with you. If you haven't, and it's only 6 episodes, so it's also kind of like how much could have happened between episode 2 and episode 4, especially with one of those wasn't even focused on them. So really, and that is the magic of it, is that suddenly we go from like what is this hookup, and you're like, what am I watching? And then it turns and you're like, oh my god, something else is happening, and that
That
is
feel
the
it feels like a lot of work for me to have to get to
I
that
know.
moment.
I was in the same. I'm not saying that this is what you're saying is not true. And the books are terrible. Like if you read the
Yeah.
books, they're really bad. In the sense that they border so closely to young adult
Yeah.
novels, in my opinion. Obviously not from the content, but like the way that they're written comes across as YA. But anyway, yeah, just so to put a bow on that, I was like, yeah, those guys still have a long way to go. They both 8 months ago, one was working at a spaghetti factory, and I think the other one was working at some restaurant in LA. So like they're fresh to fame, and it's gonna be really it just because you do one great thing, unfortunately, it means nothing. It means nothing. That kid,
Well, I mean, I think they're gonna need to have some repeat work, I think, before they're gonna be embraced maybe in the way you would want them to be in a room like that. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna have
it,
to
it
see
is
more.
it is a tough, I mean, I felt this way a little bit even with the whole like we're doing an award for podcasting now, right? Although it was really fun watching Amy Poehler win instead of her ex-husband.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
Oh
that
my
was
God. Will Arnett dating what's her face though? I was like, okay, I will say, Will Arnett's new girlfriend. Will Arnett's new
I
girlfriend.
thought their little presenting moment was funny though. Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and that guy that they do the podcast with. They were funny,
Heartless.
the three of them.
It was that was really I would say that Jason Bateman is probably top 10 for me
Yeah, I do
easily.
I do enjoy him.
Okay, so his new girlfriend, and when I say his, I mean Will Arnett. And listen, we should not be congratulating men for this because come on, but I do just want to make a note of it that Will Arnett is in a position where he probably could go out and date a 25-year-old. He has a 51-year-old girlfriend
Yeah.
in Carolyn, and obviously she's a model, right? So she's gorgeous. So like 51 means nothing. But I was just heartened to see them on the red carpet and be like, yeah, like you don't have to just go divorce your wife and date a child, a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can find a 30-year-old to date.
That's how I
They
feel about like Billy Crudup and Naomi Watts.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
at least he's,
yeah,
with an age appropriate partner.
yeah.
I loved seeing Rose Byrne when
Oh, now someone who was wearing color. We forgot about her.
that is true. You're right. Um, I definitely was not fully understanding, I think, what kind of movie If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You was when I started watching it, but
Okay.
I think everyone should watch it. It's very weird. But like her acting is just top notch. Like
She deserved it.
she just yeah, I think, and not to like discount her winning, I would say overall, like the vibes the Golden Globes is giving me is that like there isn't just a lot of standout stuff this year. I don't know. I feel like there's usually more that we're talking about, or it's
I think
like
there's niche stuff.
there's more like, oh, who's it gonna be? Because there's two to three solid performances. I don't really feel like it's like clear this year. Like who, I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But anyways, the Rose Byrne of it all, I I'm feeling very conflicted because I am obsessed with her and her husband. I was actually just watching old Six in the City episodes the other day, and the episode that he's on came up. Do you remember his episode with Samantha?
Wait, her husband.
The funky spunk.
Wait, Rose Byrne's husband,
Bobby Carnival.
Bobby Cannavale. That's so weird.
Um, so I love her.
Oh no, I was gonna say, isn't he from Bandits? But that's the other.
No, yeah. But he's been in a lot of stuff.
Okay, okay.
Um, so the Spirited Dragon story. She actually had already told this story on late night. I can't remember who it was, if it was Fallon or whatever.
Hmm.
So it wasn't the first time I think that that had been brought up. She was on,
Hmm.
let's say, Fallon.
Okay.
And, he's asking her, oh, the Globes are coming up, whatever. So she explained the whole thing in more detail than I think it came out in the speech,
Hmm.
which was something their kids have wanted for a long time. And there's this huge expo, and they talked about it and decided, it's the right thing to do and all of that. But it does still just feel really weird that, like, she's winning a Golden Globe and her husband isn't there. And especially when they are the type of couple that would normally, right? Because like there's some
Yeah,
Hollywood couples where like
like he's home
they
with the
only
bearded
ever one of them
dragon.
goes, or they switch off, or you never see them on the red carpet, or they never sit together. Like there is all of
Yeah,
that. But this is a couple. They're always together. They're always at each other's appearances for the most part. Um, I really just hope that what she's making it seem like everything is fine. I hope that's the truth of it.
me too. Me too.
It just made
Yeah.
me, as a woman, I think you can read into those types of things sometimes. And I was like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Well,
I
especially
really
on
hope
an
that there's no hard feelings there because, like, I'd be pissed. If I won a
especially
Golden Globe and my husband was not there because he was picking out a bearded dragon in New Jersey somewhere, I'd be so pissed. I'd be so
I
pissed.
know. I know. And right? Like I'll say this. I don't think I would like to believe that these actors and actresses, actually, you know what? Let's just call everyone actors because I think that's the thing that we should be doing anyway. So, um I'd like to think that these actors don't know that they're going to win. However, I do think that their agents probably get some sort of strong signal if they're
She
gonna
won for the
win.
Critics' Choice Awards. That's what I'm
There
saying.
you
Like,
go. Okay, see, okay, there you
once
go.
that happens, I feel like there should have been a conversation that was like, "Hey, babe, I know we talked
Yeah,
about this, but like,
it's looking good
feeling like
now.
I might win since I won the Critics' Choice. Maybe we just, and again, it's like, so it's I think why the story is, funny is because it's like a bearded dragon. Also, that happens to her character on Platonic, which I'm
Oh, it
obsessed
does.
with Platonic. It's like an actual storyline on Platonic that they get. Her
Okay.
husband gets a bearded dragon. So it's kind
Okay.
of funny in that sense that it's like life
Yeah.
imitating art or whatever. Um, I get why there's humor around it, but it's like, again, I wish it was like, and obviously that would be sad, but I wish he was like, I have a funeral I have to go to, or something like
Mm.
that. Like, I just, can't you send someone to pick up the
So,
bearded dragon? I just don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. They seem like a happy married couple. How are you making these decisions? Like, it's weird. I just think it's weird. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people think it's funny. I just have to be honest. I think it's very weird.
well, I'm just trying to think like, and I don't want to make these like huge blanket statements or anything like that, right? But like, this is the same reason why to go totally tangenting, but this is the same reason why I question the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift of it all. Because it's like that situation is going to require him, and quicker than I think he thought, because I think his career is over.
Yeah.
So now he's going to have to fight for relevancy among what Gronk, because he's a
As
tight
a
end.
as a
Gronk is
house
the best.
husband.
Right. So you're going to have to fight for relevancy, a bunch of Hall of Famers that you kind of are as good as, but like you fell off in your last 3 years and people are, okay, so there you go. So you're not the best.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be a house husband to Taylor fucking Swift. This is not Maren Morris. This is not uh Megan, whatever her name is. Okay. Like it's Taylor Swift. And I just think that that takes a certain sort of ego and like, I guess having your ego in check that so few men can really do. And even if you look at that, like the Golden Globes, like how many happy married couples are there that we're really seeing that have been around for a long time where the woman is so much more successful for the men? Point them out to me. Show me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you off the top, right? Like, because the moment, I'll tell you this, the moment that Nicole Kidman was booked and busy for more than 1 year, Keith Urban got the heck out of there. You know what I mean?
Oh
He
yeah.
said, oopsies. My
Yeah.
my light is now so much dimmer. And you could tell because Keith Urban was going on all of these podcast interviews. Like if you go back, he was on Ryan Seacrest, I think like a year before they announced their separation. And Ryan Seacrest asked him some just like general question about Nicole. It wasn't like he was making the whole interview about Nicole. And Keith Urban got like visibly upset and was like, yeah, I'm not here to talk
Yeah.
about Nicole. So I
Well, I mean,
just
and that's the thing, like to your point, I think that, yeah, I think anyone would agree that Roseburn has been more successful. They've been married over 20 years. I think she's definitely been the more successful of the two. I think that is exactly why to me it's a little weird. This is in many ways for an actress like Rose, the pinnacle of her success at this point, right?
this
Like
is this is everything that
she's
this is
finally
all of
like
the
in a
roles
film that is allowing her to like show off her abilities as an actor. She's transcending the whole like I'm just a comedic actress
supporting and
vibe,
even supporting comedic,
Yeah,
really.
exactly. I don't know. Just felt
I,
strange to me. Felt a little.
yeah.
The other thing that's funny, I just realized, remembers too, this is also a storyline in Platonic as well, but flipped in that her husband on Platonic gets on Jeopardy and she
Oh.
misses it.
Oh.
um like doesn't make it there in time. So it's just and it's interesting like the fallout even of that. Even on the show, like they struggle after that. So
Huh.
I don't know.
Have you ever
It's
seen
interesting.
that? Have you ever seen I've never seen the movie and I couldn't tell you what it is, but it's like it's a foreign film where it starts off with like a family of four and they're at like a ski chalet and an avalanche happens and the avalanche looks like it's going to come to the outside of the ski chalet. And so
Yeah.
everyone starts to get up and run away. And the husband gets up and runs away. And so the rest of the movie is literally about that. Like it's about like them like explaining to their friends this like crazy thing that happened, and the wife being like, and you ran away and left
Yeah.
us, and him being like, no, I did. And just the unraveling of that. Like, it's just interesting how these one things can really undo a marriage. I mean,
Oh
that's a
yeah.
big one thing, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a catalyst, right?
It's
Jeopardy is a
interesting.
catalyst.
But anyways, go Rose. I was very happy to see that.
Go
And then I
Rose.
also thought it was sort of funny that her platonic co-star, Seth Rogen, also won.
Well,
I
I
feel
love
like it's
Seth.
just like, a lot of
I,
winning for them,
yeah. And with the,
finally.
you know, um,
Do you watch the studio, what he won
I was
for?
just gonna say, yeah, I'm a couple of episodes in. I have every
It's
intention of
good.
finishing the studio, because I really do enjoy Seth, and it was one of the ones I wanted to actually get around to. And I do think with that happening the same year of him being in Platonic, I think it's just like he was really working this year, and
Yeah.
I think he has the potential to. I mean, obviously, like again, Seth Rogen probably falls in that category of people that he could go away tomorrow and we would love his stuff forever, but I think that he can do a lot with his career, and I think he has about 30 more years to do it. So kudos to him, you
Oh
know?
yeah, totally. Although I was going to ask you, I did see someone was not too thrilled to be in the room with him. Have you seen Pam Anderson's comments? I
No.
think so. I think she was on, I want to say it was on, I saw it this morning. I think it was Andy. She was like live with
Okay.
Andy. And she was saying it was quite a yucky feeling for her because remember Seth produced that show
That's
about
right.
her and Tommy,
And he starred in it.
which she
He's the
was
one that found
very
the
like,
tape.
I don't know if you watched Pam's
It
documentary.
did. Whole thing. Yeah.
She was very traumatized
She
by
hated that.
that. Yeah. So she actually talked about it with Andy at length that like it was very hard for her to be in such close proximity
I mean, I agree
and
with
take care.
Pam.
I wasn't even thinking about that when he won. Like it didn't even I I totally forgot about that TV show. But I do get why that would be triggering. And she said to Andy, she was like, like it's someone who's made a TV show off of the worst time in your life. Like,
Have you ever seen that video of Pam Anderson carrying a cake out to Hugh Hefner for his birthday?
maybe?
Okay, Google it. It is one of the craziest things you'll ever see. It's like at the mansion, all of his girlfriends, he's standing there. Out of left field comes Pam Anderson, naked. And I don't mean like naked with a thong.
Like
I
naked,
mean
naked.
naked, okay? Like cake here, vagina there, coming, and all of the girls, like you can, I mean, this is a brothel.
Yeah.
And all of the girls are like they cannot believe that someone is walking around in this way naked. And I'm just like, man, that is the thing about Pam is that, and that was probably 20 years ago, this video, right? And
Yeah.
that's the thing about her is that it's like almost as if we think, much like Marilyn Monroe, that she's public IP. And it's like she's not. And that's why people reacted to the Kim and the Marilyn dress thing so hard, because it's
Yeah.
like, she's still a person. Like you can't do that. And so I side with Pam.
No,
It,
same. I get it.
come
She
on,
kind of
like
said, Andy was like, maybe he'll hear this and reach out and like apologize. And then
I
she
think
was
she
like, I
deserves
don't
it.
know if and then she's like, well, maybe. Like maybe she would care if he did that. I don't I don't think he
Give
will.
her he could listen. He owes her. He should give her a role.
He should. Let's
Don't
yeah,
give me an
I mean,
apology. Give me a role.
give her more comedic opportunities. I know
Yeah,
that's
I
what she
want
was doing.
relevancy. I
Yeah.
don't need your apologies.
Yeah. Well, I guess now we have the Oscars left. And then, that's it.
And then it's over, and then we
We're
start over
light
again.
on award shows for a
There's a
bit.
lot of stuff I'm excited about. The Odyssey trailer came out. I don't know. I would say I was talking to Dad about it, and I was giving him the list of people. I was like, Tom Holland,
Oh yeah.
Charlize Theron, Anne Hathaway, and he had a really good point. He was like, see, but it's movies like that where it's not like actors. And I said, yeah, it's movie stars. And he's like, exactly. And he's like, and that can sometimes like take you out of it a little bit. And I was like, I
Well,
completely agree.
I do agree with that. However, did I tell you that we saw like when we went to go see Avatar, they played like instead of a trailer, they just played an extended scene.
No. Oh, so okay. What scene? The
It was
Trojan scene?
Yes. Okay. So it was crazy because it almost like you're watching it and you're like, wait, are they just going to keep playing it? Like
Um,
that was my experience as an audience member because you're in the previews, right? So
right.
you're in a preview mindset and they start playing the scene and you're like, oh my God, are they just going to keep playing the scene? Oh my God, they're just going to keep playing. Oh, but they're still playing it. It's still going. It's still going. Oh my God, it's still going. Like honestly, it must have been like 8 minutes or something. It
I
felt
think it was.
long
I
because
think it was.
we saw like, them inside the horse, them come out of the horse. Like it was a whole thing.
It was a whole odyssey.
Spellbinding. I gotta be honest. I was like, I want to see that movie. I was sold. I was sold. It was
The
heart
man puts
racing.
a sword in. He puts a sword in the horse. They clean the sword off so that when I was like, oh, I mean, sign me up for filmmaking in that 5 second clip
I
alone.
felt like I was in it. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna
No, so
be,
there's some, I'm excited. I would say we're back. I think movies are back. It might not be that we see movies back in the same way, but
yeah,
already I would say this, and I could be totally wrong because I don't know anything about anything, and it's not like I'm looking at the numbers, okay? But this is how I personally feel. I think people are getting a little sick of the Netflix movies. I think we're getting a little sick of the Amazon Prime movies. I think we're getting a little sick of the
yeah,
what is the other one? Apple movie. Like I do think it's like, you know what? MGM knows what they're doing. They've been doing
yeah,
this for 75 years. Let the big boys handle this. I love the fact that the Odyssey was filmed in the backyard of Universal Studios. It's like, give me that Hollywood, please. Thank you.
bring back the industry as
Fill
it
up
was.
a pool in LA and shoot a movie for me. Thank you. That's what I want.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or like a custom built set somewhere
That's
that
what I
you
mean.
spent
Like,
like, millions and millions of dollars on. Yeah.
someone at the Oscars last year, the Academy last year did a really good job during set design of like taking you into the set
Yeah.
design. And The Brutalist, I believe, won. And I was, to your point, like I was so taken aback when they did the kind of like, we built. Well, this is a movie about architecture. We built it, and this
Yeah.
like cavernous hall with like this. I was like, that is movie making.
Yeah.
Love it.
Let's let one can only hope. Wuthering Heights. There's so much to look forward to.
Fall in love again and again, fall in love again and again.
That's so clever that they did that song.
So clever.
All right, let's transition to the Bravo universe. All right, let's get into it.
Woo!
I know my review basically every week I feel like has been like, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. I feel like there's like things are starting to heat up a little bit, right?
I agree.
I feel like we're getting like nuggets, but let's start in chronological order as we always do. So, Salt Lake reunion. I have to be honest with you. I think I'm reaching a point with them where like the yelling and the back and forth and all of that, like I'm tuning out, I guess. And I was trying to, refresh my memory for the pod, like what happened on the reunion. I don't remember. And not only do I not remember, I don't care.
No. And I was thinking even like what you had said last week, I was really mulling on that as I was watching the reunion of like, here Mary sits, calling calling people out, saying to Lisa, what is that? Not that you're a dangerous friend, but you're a precarious friend to have. I don't know what the wording was, but
I think
basically,
it was,
oh,
yeah,
risky friend, risky.
risky.
I said to myself, Mary, you're a liability. I mean, I,
Well, I was very upset actually because I don't know if you caught this, but I don't know if it was in her intro or if it was any like later addressed her for part of her package. Andy brought up Mary's husband.
right?
And he brought it up in such a way to say, "Oh, Mary, isn't it so crazy how that was like such a big story and now it's like down here?" Almost like he was like congratulating her for the fact that like we've all moved on from that, like and kind of giving her praise that like now it's more about like her as a housewife. And I'm just like,
Andy,
what is happening right now?
Andy,
Where he's
Andy.
actually like congratulating her that none of us care anymore about the fact that she married her grandpa. Good for you,
The
Mary.
fact
Like
that that sentence even exists.
I just was a little bit like, how much longer? Like it's clear because of the timing that the reunion was filmed, and I think I said this last week, that we are unlikely to get a true confrontation. But I maintain if we head into another Salt Lake and it is not addressed in a bigger way than Mary thing, I'm not going to be able to watch anymore. Like
No,
I feel like you're asking the viewer to ignore too much at this point. Although I was talking about this with mom and I did kind of have like a little bit of epiphany, especially because as we've talked about before on Rhinestoned, Salt Lake is just so riddled with criminality at this point. I do think what happens and what is happening, the directive from Andy is very clearly film until they're arrested. Because think about this. He refuses to even
yeah,
entertain Jen Shaw coming back on the show because she's in jail, blah 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 blah. Yet we saw Jen Shaw's FBI raid
yeah,
live on
okay,
Bravo. Okay. We saw her
yeah.
sons getting pulled out by federal agents. Okay. He was happy to have her on the show right up until the point of her arrest. And I just have to wonder if that's what's happening with Mary. It's like we're just going to keep ignoring this and until she's arrested, until there's actual like criminal charges here, I'm going to continue to give her this platform.
I
But
think the
it's
same
starting
thing
to
then.
bug me. I'm like, where it's different, it's like there's a whole HBO show. And there was a show about Jen Shaw, but it was not on HBO. Okay? So like you're on a prestige television network doing a 4-part documentary about how terrible one of your housewives is, and we're just all like not going to talk about it.
Well, and I do think too, if we're looking at other franchises as evidence to that, you could point to PK, because come on, what was going on with the robbery?
Yeah.
You could point to Jersey, most of them, because what's
Yeah,
going on
totally.
with any of that? And then Potomac with Karen, right? Like, come on, like Karen was getting DUI season after she was collecting them like coins. I mean, so it was bound to be that she was going to get no, she wasn't going to rehab. Like we knew it was leading up to something like this, right? Like
Yeah.
her being in a crash or something like that. So like
But even that actually makes me feel even more angry about it because I do think it shows sort of
oh,
like
it's
the
fair.
selectivism of which he's approaching some of these situations. Because it's like, again, like, okay, Jen Shaw goes to jail for scamming old people. She's out. Karen Huger could have easily killed
Killed
people for
someone.
multiple DUIs, and we're getting a mid-season sit
Sit
down
down.
special, right? Like, and then with
So fair.
Mary, it's like Mary's being accused of like all manner of terrible things, and Andy continues to just like blow smoke up her ass. Like,
Well, here's the
it's
thing.
just
Here's
weird.
the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the real. This is, and I am not saying this to excuse Mary from anything that she's ever done, whatever that is. We don't know. It's alleged. However, you have to understand Mary is in deep religious psychosis. Mary
Yeah.
is traumatized. Mary has been, I mean, I'm sorry, but she married her grandfather. So, like, the things that have happened to Mary are so deep and dark that there is, like, and again, I'm not saying this to excuse her, but there is probably just a layer of what she is doing that it's what she's always done, and it's what her mom did and her
Yes.
grandma did, and that she doesn't really even see anything wrong with it. And that's honestly, I think, the most dangerous kind of person, right? That you're
Well, I think I agree she doesn't see anything wrong with it. I think part of what they get into in the documentary is that she's taken some of the things that her grandmother did and she's turned them dark. So some of it
right.
is kind of like her, like it actually, that's what I would say is the part about the documentary that's worth watching is you get a deeper background on Mary's grandmother. Her
Okay.
grandmother actually did have a lot of notoriety in Salt Lake because she did come and open one of the only black churches. And they interview a lot of her family that's back in, I think I want to say Ohio or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of family that goes back and forth between Salt Lake and then I think it's Ohio. And so they talk about like there were news articles about Mary's grandmother,
Okay.
that she was creating a space and that
Which is
she
beautiful.
would do a lot of things for Black people in the Salt Lake community and try and like, kind of be a pillar because again, there weren't very many Black people, right? So I think there's a lot about the foundations of the church that are admirable and above board and all of that. But what they kind of get into is like Mary's taken it to another
Yeah.
place,
Yeah. Which is,
and exploited it, truthfully, is what it really gets to.
and I'm
So,
And
Just weird.
I'm not here to say anything about anyone's children. Your journey is your journey, but I'm of both thoughts that like is it good to shine a light on that sort of stuff? Yes. And she did that last year with her a son. However, I would argue at this point, there has been enough art and enough media about kids who struggle with addiction. I don't know if we need to see it on Bravo coming from a mom who seems like she's been one foot in that raising of that son anyway.
Yeah.
I just don't know if like that's where I'm gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Like if I
I
had
feel mixed, but
a,
but like to your point,
I
right?
don't
When some of
know.
that stuff was first airing, I actually felt like, wow, this is very vulnerable. I do feel like we don't
Yeah.
get to see this on a lot of reality TV shows where a mother is being really open in this way. And I think even the way that Mary has navigated some of the scenes with her son is interesting, right? I it's stuff that we don't always get to see, but I think like that's where again this documentary and some of the continued stories about her like it does just put everything in a different under a different
Hmm.
context, right? There's a different lens applied to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, so I thought that was weird. And then I don't know if you noticed this too, but like this is where I feel like it's getting a little bit out of control. Like Andy lost control of the reunion from the get.
He
I
had
don't
no
know if you
control.
noticed, but like he didn't even get to his first question
No.
before Meredith was giving Whitney the floor to clearly do something that Meredith thought she was going to do that Whitney clearly wasn't going to do, which was like, I don't know, apologize or, something. That was so
Something.
obvious to me that Meredith thought Whitney was going to actually like take
And like in
accountability.
what world too? Like, okay, yeah,
But
no.
all I could think about during that exchange was like, oh my God. So is Meredith producing the show now?
That's
Is
okay.
that what's
Taking
happening?
the
Like,
words out of my mouth, which
I
is yeah,
just don't.
these women, they have come to the Kyle Richards well of housewifery, and they think that they all can be successful producers. And the reality is that this is the same reason why Mia on Real Housewives of Potomac was not on Real Housewives of Potomac this year,
Yeah.
right? Like even though she drove a lot of storyline, Mia thought she was an executive producer on that show. And the storylines, and then I think what did happen, I don't know anything about anything, but I do think at a certain point, maybe a producer thought that was working
Yeah.
and gave her some floor and then realized like, oh my God, no, 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 no. She doesn't know how to produce a show because she was going in such weird directions, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, no, let's leave the professionals to it. These women need to be directed. They do need someone who they respect on the stage. I'm getting a little worried if maybe the what watch what happens of it all is kind of diluting Andy's ability to have authority in these spaces, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't
I mean, I
know.
could definitely see that. I just think that for me took me out of the reunion from the jump because I'm like, now we're diving in on it's not even like relevant necessarily to what we're going to start talking about from the past season. It just was, I don't know.
It's a
Anyways, I,
personal vendetta
yeah,
or agenda.
they're a mess. I think we probably still have two more
I know, I
to
can't believe it's
go. So I'm
pretty
sure
far out.
we'll dive. Let's jump to something more interesting, which finally I got what I would call an old school Southern Charm episode.
This had it all.
Messy, drama,
Ba-ba-doo,
talking shit,
ba-ba-ba-dee-dee-dee.
crashing parties, crashing sleepover. Let's go, man. This felt like I felt like a little bit of a glimpse, a little bit of a just a small peek, a return
Mm,
back into why we
mm,
used to like this. I was really
mm.
enjoying Southern Charm this week.
Give me Craig making a woman look dumb
Any day of the week.
any day of the, we're cooking.
I
The boys
just
are playing.
wow, just wow. Like that scene between him and Sally at the chicken feed store. Brutal, brutal.
He
Ladies,
said, Sally, it was good, but it wasn't that good.
worst place you've ever been dumped. The chicken feed store.
And do I think that Craig and Sally have had sexual relations? Yes. Yes, I do.
Oh,
I don't.
okay. So I actually don't think they have. I just
I
think
do.
that like I believe here's why, okay, but here's why I don't. even Austin said this later in the episode, right? Where he's like, Craig is the type, because he has always been like this, and this has been well documented on Southern Charm. He was like, Craig is the type of guy that literally wants to hear from like multiple sources that that woman is into him before he makes a move. Like he wants references, okay? It is true. And he has said this about himself. I believe it purely because over the years that has been validated from the other men. So I actually don't necessarily think that they had sex. I think that Craig, though, was doing what he always does, which is just always being a charmer. It's how do you turn off the charm? You don't. It's just flowing out of you at all times. No, I think he definitely knew what he was
I
doing there.
agree.
He knew what he was doing. Come
Okay.
on. He's like, that's the part where I think Austin tried to nail him on that in the argument that they had before Craig stormed off when he was like, you guys have been hanging out for a month. That's where I feel like, Craig, you are what, 37, 38 years old now.
Yeah.
Grow up. You need to understand that if you as a single man are spending time with a single woman, it is possible that she is going to start thinking that there is something else going on there. His
Especially,
naivete sometimes is so annoying. Like it's just like give me a break. Come on. Like you know you led this girl on.
hold on, Sally Southern. Because I want to make sure I'm not crazy before I say this. Okay, yeah, thank you. She's 29, about to be 32. This is not a 22, 20,
No.
and not that he should be dating a 22-year-old, but what I'm saying is like Sally is a 30-year-old woman who has been very clear that she was engaged, that she wants to be engaged again,
Yeah.
and that she wants to get this thing moving. So I also think in
Oh,
this,
Sally is like, do you know Sally makes the most money regularly out of any of them? She
that's what I
revealed her
mean. She's like
salary on her first season, and
she's
she's making
making
like
bank.
like some crazy amount of money, especially for Charleston.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, yeah, no wonder that like picking up three chicks in a chicken coop for her was like no thing
Yeah,
because
no,
it's like,
she's
well, I don't
rolling in
know.
it.
I'll throw
E-
money at that. I don't care, you know? So I think that yes, he what he maybe failed to realize is that even though that she's maybe like young and effervescent in her way that she operates and presents herself, right, in that hot tub, okay, it's like, but he neglected to see that he was dealing with a real woman who has real feelings, and at 30 years old and everything that you know about her, yeah, she's in the hot tub to hope she's building a foundation
Well,
of
here's the thing. I
intimacy.
feel like he sort of outed himself, and that's the thing I wish that like, well, maybe they'll talk about it on the next episode, right? But he kind of gets all upset with Austin because Austin's coming at him like, "Oh, why aren't you just focusing on being happy about me and Charlie?" All of that. What he says to Sally outs himself. He says to her in that exchange, "Oh, well, there was kind of a moment, but then it didn't. What did he say? It
It didn't,
passed. It didn't connect or something like that, right?
yeah,
So he's
yeah.
actually admitting that he was feeling her out for a
Oh,
potential
totally.
romantic connection. And again, it's totally fine that it didn't connect for you, but now him acting as if like he wasn't
What?
trying to explore that. So what? So he can make her look stupid as if it's all in her head. That's where like I really like those are the moments where you're like, this is why Paige broke up with him.
There's
That's
a
the sort of behavior that's just messed
this
up.
is the one thing that I will say about Southern Charm. And I know this because I've heard all of these stories about like Shep getting kicked out of casinos. Okay. I have been around these people. I know because I went to college in a place where there was a lot of kids with money. I'm sure at NYU, you might have run into a couple of kids who had money too. I don't know, just guessing. And there is a sort of air. Um, And with Shep, maybe not so much with Austin, but with Shep, with Whitney, and with Craig, there is this I am better than, and
Yeah,
I am a different class. And this is why when Shep goes to casinos and gets three sheets to the wind, you always hear about him getting kicked out. Yeah, the reason he's getting kicked out is because he starts to like berate
yeah,
the dealers in a like in racial slurs
yeah.
I mean, like the things that I have heard that he's saying, and this is how those people get, where they get into these spaces where alcohol is involved, Adderall, cocaine, whatever it is, that becomes this magical cocktail of douchiness, combined with you thinking that you're a king in your own brain, and then something happens and you just flip. It's Morgan Wallen in the chair. It's
Yeah.
this just thinking that you're God's gift. And that is the one thing that I think unfortunately Austin does a better job at, is like fooling us to believe that like there is a kernel of good guy in there.
Well,
I
because I
think
don't think Austin comes from quite the same background.
I don't
Like
think he
that's
does.
why I think he was raised a little bit differently,
I
and
do
like I do
too.
think that yeah, Austin
And
has
I
a
also
bit
do
more of a real
think
quality.
we're not going to talk about the Nick Vile podcast of it all, but things have shaped Austin early, right? That has
Yes.
humbled him
Well,
and
like he's
humbled
had
his
actual
family.
hardship in his life.
Thank you.
I
Right.
mean,
So, yeah, Craig has never had hardship in that way. And
no.
I think that that's why he's reacting, or he did react to the Page thing. So, then the way that we saw, because it's like that's a hardship for him and he
Yeah.
can't believe. And same with Shep and the woman who didn't want it. That's one of his first hardships. And he can't believe that this woman wouldn't want to be with him. And it's like, you guys are not good people. You need to
Yeah.
go back, try ayahuasca again. It didn't work. Do
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
You
I
need an
mean,
ego death.
I don't know. I'm excited to see this continue to play out next week. I think that the other thing I found interesting because they were on Watch What Happens recently where I think they addressed this. It seems like Sally and Charlie are still friends and
Oh,
that
yeah.
like they acknowledge that they did go through a tough patch and all of that. I find it interesting they're still friends. If I was Sally, I don't think I could still be friends with Charlie. I think Charlie is like massively playing dumb about this whole thing. Um that was such an amazing scene though when we all realized that like she was gonna get outed before she had a chance to tell Sally. When they all came into the sleepover, I was just waiting. I was like, wait, which one is gonna be the one? And then initially they didn't say it. Austin wasn't
Yeah.
saying anything. So I was like, wait, is she gonna get away with this?
Uh-huh.
And then Rodrigo just like, well,
Thank
I
you,
mean,
Rodrigo, for clocking in.
can always count on Rodrigo to actually say what needs to be said. I do enjoy him for that reason. He's like, oh, but Charlie's going. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see how that continues to play out next week, but like, come on, she should have been. I think Charlie, it's clear, was lying about the times that Craig had come to visit her. Like, it's not just not sharing about the date that's not a date, right? Like, she's been keeping her feelings for Craig under wraps this whole time. And I think, like, if, you know, you're gonna have a close girlfriend, you either step back or you gotta come clean.
And I will say this, I am not going to take back everything that I said about Vanita. I still think that Vanita needs to find her own storyline. I still think that there are major issues
Benita
with
needs to stop
Vanita.
storming out, is what she needs to do.
She
She's
needs to stop
losing all of her
leaving
credibility
it
every time she
every
leaves.
time. However, I do think that if I'm like stepping back, I do think what Vanita, and maybe she wasn't able to say on camera because it's so harsh, right? But it's like, Sally, I have known Craig long enough to know the caliber of women that he is going after and is making his public girlfriend. It ain't you. And I know
Yeah.
that. And he will dog walk you because, yeah, you might be the type of caliber of women that he'll sleep with, but he's never going to claim you publicly. And that's really what
He
she was
called her what?
saying
A
to
hurricane?
Sally.
Or what did he call her? A tornado or
Tornado
whatever?
and stuff. I will say on Watch What Crappens, the guys, my two Ronnie and Ben, they were saying like, that the first time he said that, he said hornado, and that Alex was like, we can't, you're gonna have, that's gonna, no. Because there's
No, but
no
well,
way.
this is where we can literally take a page, get it? From, pun intended, thank you.
Unintended.
From Paige in that that is what he is that is what he's always
He's
pictured
always
for
doing, yeah.
himself, right? Love Paige, but she is very demure. She's very quiet. She's not the type that's gonna, I mean, yes, maybe she's gonna read you or whatever, but like there's a certain vibe that she has about her that I think is evocative of actually what a lot of men are looking for in their partners, right? Like no one wants to feel like they have to worry that their partner is going to while out or drink too much or whatever. And not that Sally's just walking around acting crazy all of the time, but she just has a bigger personality, I guess you could
Totally.
say. Um,
Totally.
that I agree with you. Vanita knows well enough to know with Craig's patterns,
That's not what he's looking
you're
for.
not a match. And you could see that through him going after Charlie, who basically is like the personality of a, I
Of
don't even know what.
Naomi.
Yes.
Because
Which, by the
Naomi's
way,
this girl.
okay, I just had a like moment about Naomi. I did not realize that Naomi's new fiance is Brooke
Mm-hmm.
Nader's ex-husband.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are there just not enough men?
Enough
Like,
men.
what is happening?
I couldn't believe that. I said to myself, how and where did you two meet and why?
And Naomi's been on the market now for a while. Like, she's stunning, she's gorgeous, she could have, like, and we're picking Brooke Nader's ex?
And you have to think like, I'm not trying to diss Brooke Naders, but like, I don't know.
That's the
Someone
other
picked,
thing I'd be thinking. I'd be thinking this guy's ex is like is n nothing like me.
right? That's what I'm saying. Like Brooks Naders is an open book.
Very, very. I mean, yeah, that was like
I couldn't believe that either. Naomi and Paige and Charlie, to your point, they give the same vibe, which is the same vibe a little bit, this much that Natasha from
yeah,
Sex in the City. It's this like
yes,
Upper East Side, perfected, classy, and whether or not any of that is true, unfortunately or fortunately, there are women who just have that air about them, right? And
yeah,
it's not something that can be taught. It is just, it's just innate in who they are, and he's looking for that for sure.
yeah,
And I would even say, like, to go back to our Golden Globes, like that is that air that Kylie has, where it's like he is this he is this monument and she is this like gorgeous gem,
yeah,
right? And together they are, he's looking for that. He's looking for a gorgeous little gem that he's so proud of. And that's why, and that is what I think Vanita was getting to, is like
yeah.
he might have sex with you, but to claim you,
You're not,
that's not
you're
you.
not what he's looking for in a
He's
wife.
not gonna, he's not
Yeah.
gonna do that with you. So
Well, so I'm actually excited for Southern Charm for next week now because hopefully, and thank you, Madison, for throwing the slumber party because this is where again we just have to quickly give Madison her dues, okay? Like this woman is like fully pregnant, can't drink, and is the only one trying to get people together to create some kind of show. Okay? So just
and
kudos
I
to
would say
Madison. Without her, we wouldn't even, and again, she can't even participate, but yet she at least is creating the right environment, the right breeding ground for what we need to
and
happen.
And I will say, I have seen people who have TikToks, right, who have kind of been like, Madison's husband watching paint dry. And it's like, this is the thing that you guys don't understand. And listen, Madison and her husband could get divorced. I don't know. Who knows? But I'm just saying, this is that that's who Madison needs to be with. Like
Yeah,
that for her is perfect because that's a grounding presence for her
totally.
where probably in her life she's had to be so much of not the man, right? But like her own provider.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't need Austin. She doesn't need someone creating that drama in her life. Do I still think that she's secretly in love with Austin? Yes, I do. But she doesn't, what she needs is that boring guy who's just going to
Yeah.
love her down and be like, you want to do that crazy thing? You want to go to BravoCon? Whatever. I'll take care of the baby. You go be that shiny thing and I'll
Oh
be
yeah.
here. I think
Let's
it's,
let's her shine.
I think it's perfect.
So we'll pick back up next week. I'm excited to see the rest of that scene play out. Beverly Hills. So I actually thought this was really funny. I saw like Megan McCain was going off. She was upset that they keep saying that they're in Sedona, and apparently they're not.
Is she still in the View? Is that where she goes off? Where does she go off?
No, no, no. She goes off on Twitter, which I
Okay,
was
okay, Twitter.
used to call
Right.
X.
Okay.
She's like, they're not in Sedona. They're in Jerome. It's two different places.
How dare they, first of all?
So that was like with last week's episode. So I did what I did think was interesting about this week's episode is you did see that yes, they were actually closer to Jerome,
Then
and then they took that trip to
to
Sedona.
Sedona. Yeah.
So, typical Bev Hills, just always trying to make things seem fancier than they
Magic Hollywood.
are. But I have to be honest, that latter part of the episode was very triggering for me
Oh, why?
because watching them all come down at 9:30 at night, trying to get dinner together. An hour passes, another hour passes. It's unclear on who's making what or when the food is coming.
Oh my
This is
God.
exactly why I don't like girls' trips.
I know.
This is
I
why
know.
I know people just like, and you know a lot of people like we've been a part of this, we've been invited, we've gone, my whole life. There's been people that just love to do group trips. Let's do a group trip.
Mhm.
Why?
No.
Why? Even, I mean, especially when you're watching these Beverly Hills women, what was sort of refreshing about it is, to my exact point, it is more like what a normal person's group trip would be like when they showed that scene of them that they went to the grocery store after the
Right.
activity.
Right.
I was
Right.
dead. I was thinking about so many times in the
So many
Poconos.
Costco trips.
And you're like, you all push in there together. You've
Yep.
got like people who eat wildly different things with
Yep.
wildly different ideas of what you should
Yep.
make or how you navigate a store, or people that want to buy things that only make sense if you were actually
And
staying there
everyone's just like trying to be
for
so
a
nice. Like,
week.
yeah.
And every time something hits the cart, you're thinking like, how are we going to pay for this at the end? How are we going to divide this up? Because I don't think we need microgreens for a 5 day or 4 day stay in the Pocono, like, oh God, I was just like so happy to not be in that room, to not be in that
Oh my God.
kitchen, to not be responsible for that meal.
Yes. It brought me back. So growing up, but going to college and being Greek, just the initiation nights, the new member nights, the sleepovers, like all of the pots of pasta that I've slaved over with some other sister. And then it's just like it, you don't know you're 19, 20 years old trying to make pasta for 40 girls. So by the end, everyone's getting like, I don't
This
know what I'm
small
doing.
amount.
No, or like trips that I've been on where it's like, I literally was on a trip once where we got like 2 racks of beer. And we got back to the house, and one of the girls was so pissed off because she was not going to drink her beer, but she paid for the beer. So she starts opening the cans and pouring the cans down the sink. And we're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, I'm not going to drink the beer and I paid for it. So I'm just going to pour out all of the ones that I would have drank
Okay.
so that we couldn't have
Couldn't
extra."
have it. Yeah.
Right?
God forbid.
And I was like, oh my God, get me off of the island of Kauai. Like, I cannot be here anymore. I need to leave. Like, people get so weird and petty. And you
But that's what
realize,
I'm
like,
saying. Like, why? They should have
no,
put a chef.
people
Look,
become
it looks like they
creatures.
got it together in the end, but I'll be honest, did any of those dishes look like anything that was identifiable as food? I kept looking. I was like, oh, let's see Kathy's pasta.
And then I was going to say, like, well, they're all probably drinking, but it's like, are they even all drinking? Like, does this cast even really drink in front of each other anymore?
I mean, I think so, because what else were they doing until 1 in the morning? But
I know, but
anyways,
remember we used to get like
that was rough.
crazy 1 a.m. I felt like when Lisa Rinna was still around, we would get that like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. iPhone footage that Kyle would take of Fox Force 5. It's like we don't get any of that anymore, Like it's just
Well, and kind of to that point, I think that like, look, this felt like another like Sutton episode, basically, right? I know something big is coming up where we're gonna like really not like Amanda,
I
but like
guess,
so
yeah.
far, I am kind of liking certain things about her. Like, I know she got in trouble for the comment about where is Sutton, she's supposed to be making the food, but like, yeah, it is kind of rude. Like, if you are the host and let's say you want some alone time, maybe she should have just been shooting a text like, hey guys, I know you're all down there. I know I was going to make this chicken. I'm just not up for it anymore, right? Or it's going to take me a couple hours. Like, I did agree with Amanda on that. I would have been super annoyed. I saw Dorit on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy asked if she was as annoyed as Amanda was, and she said, "Oh no, I was more." So I thought that was very telling
See?
that the rest of the ladies were clearly keeping their anger
Under
under
wraps.
wraps. I think they know better than to, start setting off. But it just felt like poor hosting. And then, towards the end, I'm just really getting tired of like now they all have to coddle Sudden and like you can't say anything to her without her getting really upset, and then they have to like rally around her, make her feel better. I think for me, the most interesting part about this episode was finally getting the truth of Jennifer Tilly's feelings as Sutton's friend. And I saw, like, I think Andy asked Brad Goretzky, like, oh, on a scale of 1 to 8, or 1 to 10, like, how surprised were you about that? And he said, like, 8. I was like a 2. Okay. Like, it
Also,
is so obvious that Jennifer Tilly gets annoyed with Sutton all the time. So the fact that we
also,
finally got that, I was like, not surprised at all.
okay, so two things. One, last week on the pod and on TikTok, I had said we need Brad back. And then Brad
And
was
then
on
he
What
magically
Happened.
appeared.
So Andy, we know you're listening to Rhinestone.
Yeah.
Just just
Manifest.
just admit it. No, but Sutton has been talking about the divorce since Sutton came on the show. I don't understand how we're 4, 5, 6 seasons in with Sutton. I don't know which it is. And the storyline this year feels like to me that we're supposed to be giving her empathy because of her divorce.
Which
Or
she
like,
already went through years and years
we
ago.
did this. This is over. I don't
I
know
don't
how
even
because
think, I
she
have
gets
to go back and check.
annulled. I
I
don't
don't
even
even think she
understand.
actively went through the divorce on the show. I think it was that she'd already
It was
gone through it.
before because the whole storyline of her coming on was I have been in years prior divorced and I have so much money because her first episode was like her and Lisa Rinna at the Dolce and Gabbana store getting the crowns, you know? So
Yeah.
it was like her storyline was I've been divorced. This man is out of my life and I have a ton of money and I'm healed and happy because I have all of my money. So I'm confused now how 6 years in the crying and the or not the crying, but just the feeling as though we're really having to like unpack the divorce. I'm
Well,
like,
I
her
think it's
kids
being
are on the
sparked by this whole
road.
like annulment and her like having to give up her last name.
Yes.
So I think that's where it's like been born out of. But I just, I don't know. I just to say, I think it's just getting really old. I think like it was sort of fascinating to me that at the end of that scene, Sutton was saying this is the first time that she feels like she's really a part of the group. From her
Yeah.
perspective, I actually did understand that comment,
Yeah.
right? Because she is always on the outs, and this
Right.
was a rare moment where they were all like catering to
Right.
her feelings. And so that's
Right.
sort of the irony of it all. It's like now because she's been so beaten down, they've embraced her. Like
I want to know what Garcelle thinks of that. I
it's
want
like,
cameras
well,
up on Garcelle.
now that you've humbled yourself to us enough, Sutton,
Right.
we'll finally let you be part of the
We'll let
group.
you in.
Um, but I just it's just not what I want to be seeing on Beverly Hills. And I
No.
just I think my overall assessment of this week's episode is just like I just wish we were centering, I think, on others a little
Yeah.
bit more,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Bose or I don't know if that's Rachel, maybe, but it's just like how is it that after everything that happened last season and the state of these ladies' lives this season, how is this becoming about Sutton?
I know.
Like, I just
And
don't
it's
care. I
not,
thought
it's
that's
like
what
the
we kind
least
of like
interesting
decided
person.
last season that we don't care enough about Sutton for it to be about Sutton.
Completely agree.
Just gets back in there. So,
But I did like her little braids.
yeah, it was, yeah. I do think she's dressing better and putting herself
You look
together
cute
better.
at the
And I
dinner
did
table.
enjoy the Sedona fashion, right? Like, that is,
Oh, I did too. I loved the hats. I love Jennifer Tilly's hat. I was
yeah.
like, man, Kyle is living right now. She got all her turquoise out. She said, yes.
Dorit totally like digged on Kyle for her turquoise on Watch What Happens Live. But I have to be honest, when I was watching that scene, I was like, give it to me.
Give it to me. I
I
love
want
it.
I love turquoise. I'm a
Oh, I do too.
sucker for turquoise.
We
So
used to go to Santa Cruz all the time and buy turquoise. I don't know why, but we did. All right.
I mean, we'll pick back up with the ladies next week. I think they'll probably be back in Beverly Hills finally and see where it goes. But that I think is a wrap. 10 episodes.
You go us. Episode 11 next week. We're going to keep this rolling, Rhinestoners. Don't worry.
Yes, more Bravo, more celebrity news. Hopefully something exciting happens. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully exciting and fun and like
And
joyous.
pre Oscar buzz.
Yeah, let's put that into the universe.
Have a great weekend, sissy.
I love you so much.
I love you. Bye,
Bye,
Rhinestoner.
Rhinestone.